Welcome to another video. I'm Jordan. This is Books with Brushu. I like to drink coffee and read books. It is another dreary, overcast day here in Georgia. So we've only got the lights in the room. It is what it is. But I've got my coffee. Go grab yourself a drink and let's jump into all of the series that I have started, continued, and finished in the first 6 months of 2026. And let me tell you, it is definitely skewed in one direction. And it's not helping me. It's not helping me, but we're trying. We are trying. Before we jump in, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel for fun bookish content and spinner wheel TBR videos. Those are definitely my favorites. I have finished my bookshelves and rearranged my books, redone my library a little bit. And that video is coming out next week. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on that video next week. And let's jump into all of the series that I have started in 2026. Unfortunately, there are a lot of them. I started the Irish Hearts series by Nora Roberts. The first book was Irish Thoroughbreds, I believe. This was actually the first book that Nora Roberts ever wrote. And it's a shorter book. I think it was around 200 pages, so really not very long at all. It might have actually been less than 200 pages. And I have to say, I did not enjoy that book at all. I did not like it. The main male character was awful, and I just never felt a connection to the characters at all. So yes, I did start that series, but I also DNF'd it. The second series that I started was the Three Realms series by Amelie Wen Zhao. The first book is The Scorpion and the Night Blossom, and I thoroughly enjoyed this book. Loved it. It's a duology. I have the second book. I have received my Fairy Loot copy of the second book, so all I have to do is read it. That's literally all I have to do. One of my goals for the next 6 months of the year is to read the duologies that I'm in the middle of. Get those out of the way, because there's only 2 books, so that means I only have to read 1 to finish the series. So this is one of those. This was a Fairy Loot adult pick, and I thoroughly enjoyed this story. It left on sort of kind of a cliffhanger. There's a war that just started at the end of the book, so obviously I want to know how the war ends and who our main female character ends up with, because it's kind of a love triangle. Recommend this book for sure. Another series that I started is The Handmaid's Tale, which is also only a duology. The first book is The Handmaid's Tale and the second book is The Testament. So I just have to read that second one. I did enjoy the book. However, I have watched the show, loved the show so much. I haven't seen The Testaments, and I obviously haven't read The Testaments, but the show is very similar to the first book. Very similar. So I didn't gain any new knowledge. You know, normally how things are left out. I really didn't gain any new knowledge or learn anything additional. So either you can do one or the other, or read the book and then watch the show. I liked it. It's just I already knew what was going on. So it was fine. Then I started the Crimson Ridge series by Elliot Rose. The first book is Chasing the Wild. Loved this romance. It's a taboo romance of ex-boyfriend's father. He's much older than her. They get, she gets stranded at his ranch during the winter because he lives at the top of a mountain and they get snowed in and she's unable to leave. So things start to happen. And I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I'm really looking forward to the other books in the series, just simply haven't gotten to them yet. I then started the Devil of the Highlands series by Lindsay Sands. I read this book for my Reading Historical Romances vlog, which I can link in the description below. I really enjoyed this book. He's Scottish, obviously, lives in the Highlands. He takes an English bride, brings her back to his castle, and they slowly get to know each other. She finds out that all of the rumors about him aren't true. He's actually called the Devil of the Highlands. He is a laird, and turns out all of these rumors about him aren't true. obviously, and that there's somebody else behind all of the murders that have been happening. So this is not only a romance, but it's a bit of a suspenseful romance. There's somebody trying to kill our main female character, and they're trying to figure out who that is. There are 2 other books in this series. I read this and listened to the audio, and I really enjoyed the audio, so definitely continuing on with that series. Then I started the Wolf King series or trilogy by Lauren Powell Freeman. So 2 of the 3 books in this trilogy are currently out now. The 3rd book is supposed to be released in September or October, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but later on this year. Thoroughly enjoyed this book. This is another like Scottish type where there are werewolves. Each clan has a different tartan, and in the audiobook, the werewolves have Scottish accents, even though this doesn't take place in our world, but it's very reminiscent of like Scotland and England. And England are the humans, and they're fighting against the werewolves who live in Scotland, and there's this whole like undercurrent of other things going on. And so this book, the first book is very like surface level, you're just getting a feel for the world, and the second book is where you really dive in and you really figure out the other things that are going on. But I absolutely loved this first book. I devoured it. I read it really fast. So The Wolf King. Then for my reading completed series challenge that I started, my first series that got picked was the Kay Scarpetta series by Patricia Cornwell. And this is a crime suspense police procedural series about a medical examiner, Kay Scarpetta, and the different cases that she's involved in. And of course, the cases hit closer to home. She's involved. Her family sometimes gets involved, mainly her niece. There are different detectives. We've also got FBI influence where sometimes the FBI gets involved in the cases. And in the later books, Kay does start working with the FBI on some cases and some things. I enjoyed this series way more than I thought I would. And I am glad that it got picked and I finally started to read it. So this is also a series I started. Then we have the Bonds That Tie series by J. Bree. Oh, you guys, this series still has me in a chokehold. I read it in February, and it still has me in a chokehold. I finished this book and the subsequent books in the series in 1 day each, which is really, really fast for me. This is more of a paranormal romance where you have gifted and ungifted. Our main female character, Oleander, she is seemingly ungifted, but she does have 5 bonds. In the gifted community, you have bonds or mates. They're basically predestined. They're determined by your blood, and you're just born with that bond between you. They basically become your family unit. Well, Ollie, she runs from her bonds. They don't know why, but it is in order to protect them. They find her and bring her back, and thus ensues the bad people coming after them, which there was already a war going on, and then the war just gets worse and worse until Ollie comes in and saves the day. This series is about not only the war and trying to save the gifted and the ungifted, but also her developing the relationships with her 5 bonds, working through all of the issues that they have. And I absolutely devoured this series. So freaking good. Then I read The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. This is the first book in a duology. I did like this book. It's rather long, and I felt like there are some things that could have been left out. I enjoyed the premise of the story. There was just something that was lacking, I feel like. But I enjoyed the world. I enjoyed the magic system. I like Bristol and how like she thought she didn't have any magic, and it turns out that she does, and figuring out why that is, and figuring out why her parents died, and all the things that she's going through, and coming to this new magical world where she gets to experience new things, develop a relationship with somebody. This book left off on a cliffhanger, so I did actually read the second book. So that's just coming in a section later on. But The Courting of Bristol Keats, I did enjoy this book. Then I picked up the first book in the Valiant Peak Rodeo series. This was an advanced reader copy that I received through NetGalley. I have to say, I DNF'd this book at like not very far in. I think I made it maybe 50 to 75 pages into this book and couldn't take it anymore. I did not enjoy the author's writing in this book. It was very clunky. She was saying a lot of things and at the same time saying nothing at all. Like there were a lot of words that just meant nothing. I did not enjoy the characters. Their relationship was weird. The thoughts that the main male character was having were just odd. I just did not enjoy it. I did not enjoy it at all. In preparation for this video, I went to Goodreads and was looking at some of the reviews, and it has, I think, a 2.5 star rating. And most of the reviews that are there are my sentiments exactly. So definitely I did not enjoy this book at all. And I will not be continuing this series. I started the Lightlark series by Alex Aster. Oh, you guys. I love this. I love this series so much. So in this book, we are introduced to Isla, who is the wildling ruler. Every 100 years, there is a trial. There are trials that happen on the island of Lightlark to try to break the curse that is over the people there. So all of the rulers from all of the different lands come to Lightlark to try to solve and break this curse. Well, Isla comes to Lightlark and she gets teamed up with Aro, who is the king, also the Sunling ruler. They are trying to figure out and break this curse. Well, along the way, she has a friend, she has a lover, there are other things that happen, and the ending of this book, you guys, the ending of this book, I will just say, if you read this book, make sure you have Nightbane on deck to read right after, because this leaves on a cliffhanger and you're like, what the heck just happened? What the heck just happened, and how dare you? It was so good. Highly recommend this book. I know there are some mixed feelings about it, but I absolutely loved it. Then I started the Tawny Man trilogy by Robin Hobb. The first book in that trilogy is Fool's Errand. This is the third trilogy in the Realm of the Elderlings world that Robin Hobb has created. So I've read the first two trilogies and have started the third. And in this third trilogy, we are back with Fitz and the Fool and Night Eyes and following them along another adventure where shit goes down. These are high fantasy, no romance, just pure, let me go on this quest and fight these people and solve this mystery or get this person back or save this person from whatever. I'm glad that we're back with Fitz and the Fool. The second book in this trilogy, Golden Fool, is actually on my July TBR, so hopefully I get to that. I'm sure I will, but I did start the third trilogy. So yes, I technically started a new trilogy or a new series, but I'm counting the Realm of the Elderlings as an entire series, so I don't know, but it's on the list. Then of course, I did start my reread of ACOTAR. And yes, I know this isn't the first book, but it's the one that I grabbed. You know, who doesn't like to look at Rhys? I am doing an ACOTAR reread and reading the Crescent City series for the first time. Currently, I have made it through the first 3 ACOTAR books and have started Crescent City. Such a great series. Absolutely love it, and I cannot wait to continue. Then we have the Crucible series by Abigail Owen with The Games Gods Play. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So we are introduced to our main female character, Lyra Kiraz, and she is a mortal. She is a mortal. She's a human. And every 1,000 years, the gods put on a set of trials called the Crucible. Each Olympic god picks a champion. This follows the Greek gods, so Zeus, Hades, Athena, Aphrodite, etc. This follows the Greek gods. They pick humans to be their champions in the Crucible. Because of the big war that happened, where all of the gods fought against each other and destroyed Olympus, they have now decided that they themselves won't fight against each other because they're too powerful. So to pick a new king of the gods, they have the humans compete in the trials for them. So Hades picks Lyra as his champion. And this is the first year that Hades has ever competed in the Crucible. So we find out why. We find out what needs to happen and the reason that he started competing in the Crucible. And follow Lyra through all of the labors during the Crucible. And you guys, I absolutely love this book. I love this book, devoured it, devoured the second book. So, so good. I cannot wait for the third book to come out later this year, but highly recommend The Games Gods Play. So then we have the first book in the Woolsey Faraday trilogy with the Lilac Girls. And this particular book is a historical fiction set right at the cusp of World War II starting. So we follow 3 different women in this story. One is a French woman who lives in New York, and she works at the French consulate there. Then we follow a young girl who lives in Poland, is there when the Germans first invade Poland, and living through the first couple of years of the war, and then, you know, getting arrested and taken to a concentration camp and living through that and all the things that happened to her. And then the third woman, who is a German doctor who has had some terrible things that have happened to her in her life, has had to fight against men to become a female surgeon, and then ends up working at a concentration camp and becoming just as bad as everyone else and not repentant of it. And starting to believe all the rhetoric that was put out there about the people in the concentration camps and why they deserve to be there, and that doing bad things to them didn't matter. Follow those 3 women throughout the entirety of the war. So right when the war starts, throughout the whole war, and then a couple years after the war. And how their lives have all intermingled, things that happened to them. And this story was, it was rough. It's based off of real women. It is based off of real people. All these things happened in World War II. If you read this book, read the author's note at the end, because she goes into how much research she did about all of these women, finding out all of this information, and all of these things actually happened. All these things actually happened. So just heart-wrenching, heartbreaking, emotional. It was good. The other 2 books in this series follow the lady who worked at the French consulate. They follow her ancestors. So one, I believe, follows her mother, and then another book follows her previous ancestor, that are all spoken about in this first book. Then the Housemaid series by Freida McFadden. I finally read this book. I finally read the first book. It was okay. I think I would have enjoyed it more if it wasn't exactly like The Last Mrs. Parrish. So I saw the twist coming. Literally the same twist happened in The Last Mrs. Parrish. Whichever one of those that you read first, you'll like more because it was more of a surprise. And the one you read second, you'll like less because it was the same thing. It was fine. I enjoyed it. I don't want to give it a bad, I didn't want to give it a bad rating simply for the fact that it was so much like the other book, but I still need to watch that TV show because I think the TV show will be good. It was a good mystery. Then I started the Solace Springs series by Laura Bloom. The first book in this series is The Cherry Blossom Boathouse. This is a cute small town romance where our main female character, she is from London. Her boyfriend breaks up with her, and on a whim, she buys a boathouse in Washington State to then go there, fix it up, and make it into a bookstore. She buys this sight unseen. She gets there and realizes it's more rundown than she thought it was going to be, and it's going to be a little more work than she thought. Well, on the day of her arrival, she meets her very cute neighbor who helps her fix up the boathouse. Reluctantly at first, but then he gets on board so that she can fulfill her dream and so that she can prove to herself that she can do something hard. I absolutely loved this book. There was a 3rd act breakup. I don't always love a 3rd act breakup, but it was fine. I knew that it was coming, so whatever. The second book in this series comes out in the fall, and I already have the arc for that one, so I will be reading that one soon. Then I started the Asperfell series. The first book is Asperfell. It's a trilogy. All 3 books just came out at the end of June. So these were originally indie published and became trad published. And so the trad published books just came out at the end of June. I really enjoyed this first book. I really, really enjoyed it. This takes place, I thought of it like a country like England, where you have a king who lives in the castle, and then you have all the lords and ladies and his council members and everything. So our main female character, we're first introduced to her when she's like, I think 8 or 9 years old. The king has died. So there's a big uproar about how his death happened, and evidently his son killed him. Well, in this world, there are mages who have magic, and his son was a very powerful mage and supposedly killed his father with his magic. So the king is dead. The younger brother now becomes king because there was only the 2 boys, and the oldest killed the king, and so the second son is now king. So in this world, their mages have created this other world, sort of, where they send criminal mages. Since the son killed the father, and he is a mage, he is sentenced to go through the gate to Asperfell. So on his execution date, mages open up this magical gate. He goes through into Asperfell to live out the rest of his life in this prison in a different world. So they just send all of these criminal mages through, and that's the last they're ever thought of. Female character Bryony, her father is on the king's council. So with this new king, they're trying to help guide him through being a king, since he really wasn't raised to be king, help advise him and all of that. Well, there are rumblings that the new king, he is out to get mages. He wants them tracked and all put on a list, who the mage is, what their powers are, etc. It basically becomes like a witch hunt for these mages, and if you keep your power or your children's power a secret, you're executed. The council, Bryony's father, is trying to keep the king from doing all of this, but they can only do so much. Well, he sends his 2 daughters, Bryony and her older sister, off to their family estate, like way in the north country, like days and days and days away, basically to shield them. And then we eventually find out why. Some people come after Bryony, and basically she ends up in Asperfell. And she's trying to get the son who killed his father out of Asperfell, because obviously he didn't actually do it. And there are a lot of other things at play. Really enjoyed this book. There is a budding romance, and I'm excited to read the second one to see what happens in this world. Then I read the first book in the Barry's Bay series by Carly Fortune, which was Every Summer After. I loved this book. This book was so freaking cute. Dual timeline, so you have your present timeline and then your past timeline. In the past timeline, you're getting Sam and Percy first meeting and slowly developing their friendship and then their relationship. And then the present timeline, where they're now seeing each other for the first time after 12 years, trying to work through their feelings and figure out what happened in the past that they then didn't see each other or speak to each other for 12 years. I loved this book. I thought it was so cute. I loved the characters. I loved the story. If you watch the TV show and have not read the book, please just read the book, because the TV show, they changed so much in the TV show. They changed so much in the TV show, and it was so disappointing. The book was way better. The book was way better. And then finally, I started the Cruel Fates series or duology by K.M. Moronova with Once Upon a Demon's Heart. I enjoyed this book. I liked the author's writing. It was super intriguing, kept me invested. I liked the unique like magic system curse that was happening. So if you're looking for a slow burn, this book is definitely not it. It was good. I enjoyed it. So the first book in that, I think it's a duology. Those are all of the series that I started in the first half of the year. There are 20 of them. I started 20 series. That's just a lot. That's just a lot. And we're gonna work to get that down. So now let's talk about the series that I continued in the first half of this year. So I continued the London Prep series by Gillian Dodd. This is a series about Mallory, who is a foreign exchange student from the United States traveling to London, and through circumstances, her and her family end up staying. Her parents move from New York to London. Relationships develop. It's very like Gossip Girl, high school drama, stuff like that. And I really enjoy it. I love this series. I've got 2 books left, and I want to finish this series by the end of the year because it's so addicting and I love it so much. Then we've got the Fun for the Holidays series by Jay Sterling. So I read the first book in December, even though it was a New Year's Eve book, so I read it in December. But these are short romance novellas that follow the holiday or the season that happens that month. So for January's book, it was like a New Year's Eve, New Year's themed book. For February, it was a Valentine's themed book. For March, it was a St. Patty's Irish themed book, and so on. I did continue that series, and I am now on book 7 for July, which is a summer themed book. June's book was themed around a wedding, and I am enjoying most of the books in this series. Some of them I've really, really liked, some are just okay, but these are quick, short romance novellas where they meet and they fall for each other very quickly and then have a happily ever after. So just a fast audiobook listen. The audiobooks are usually between 3 and 4 hours, so it takes no time at all. Then I have also continued the Wolf King trilogy with The Night Prince. And again, I loved this series. This was my favorite sequel of the year, which my mid-year book tag video came out last week. So go check that one out for more thoughts on my favorite sequel so far this year. But I loved this book, and I cannot wait for The Wolf Queen to come out later this year. Then, of course, I did continue the Bonds That Tie series by J. Bree. We already talked about this book because I did start it and continued it this year. This is Atlas. I love Atlas. I mean, I love all the guys, but Atlas, he's so great. Y'all, just please read this series. Please, 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 please read this series. Once again, I did start and continue the Kay Scarpetta series by Patricia Cornwell, which we've already talked about. I did continue the Dream Harbor series by Lori Gilmore with the Strawberry Patch Pancake House. And these are small town cute romances. Again, usually kind of holiday or season themed. This one was set around strawberry season, which is usually May timeframe. At least here in Georgia it is. I love these books. I think they're super cute, just nice, cozy romances where the couples meet. They usually have some sort of conflict and then they end up together. I have been enjoying all of the books that I have read so far in this series. Then again, we have the Crucible series by Abigail Owen with The Things Gods Break. This is the second book. Absolutely loved it. We continue to follow Lyra along her journey. Lots of things happen, lots of crazy things. I can't wait to read the third book, which comes out later this year. Obviously started and continued my reread of the ACOTAR series, and also started and continued my read of the Lightlark series with Nightbane, and I cannot wait to get to Skyshade. Then I did continue with the Part of Your World series by Abby Jimenez with Yours Truly. So this is the second book in the trilogy. I think it's a trilogy. I'm not sure if she's going to be writing more books in this series or not, but so far there are 3 books out. The first book is Part of Your World. Absolutely loved it. Second book, loved it even more. It was so good. I loved the main characters. I love how they took care of each other and how they thought of each other and put their partner's needs above themselves. I just loved the development of this relationship. This book was so freaking cute. Highly recommend. And the final series that I have continued so far this year is the Thoughtless series by Essie Stevens. So in this book, we are following Griffin, who is the bassist for the band, the D-Bags. And the first 4 books in this series follow Kellen and Kira, and Kellen is the lead singer in the D-Bags. So you're following them and how their relationship develops. Well, in this 5th book, you're following Griffin and his relationship, how he kind of messes things up for himself. And he learns and he grows in this book and figures out that his ego has been out of control for a long time. He's slowly learning, recognizing that, and then fixing it. I will say, Griffin, not my favorite character. I don't enjoy his personality or the things that he says. He's very crude. Don't love that. So the book was good. I enjoyed the book. I just don't love Griffin. He just isn't my favorite, and that's just how it is. But I did enjoy reading this book, and I'm glad that I finally have gotten back into this series because it has been way too long. So those are the 11 series that I have continued in 2026 so far. Let's talk about the very few series that I'm all caught up on and just waiting for books to come out. Can't do anything with them yet. I'm just at a standstill. And these are ones that I've started this year. It's only if I've read this, oh my gosh. It's only if I've read one of the books in the series this year. So if I read a book in the series like last year, I'm not counting it in my this year as caught up because I counted it at my last year's video. That was my series wrap up, which I think came out in January, and I can link that one below. So I've already talked about those below. But let's talk about the ones that the series that I have started this year and that I'm all caught up on. The first is, again, the Wolf King series, waiting for that third book to come out later this year. And then also the Crucible series, waiting for the third book to come out later this year. Then there's Solace Springs by Laura Bloom. The second book is coming out later this year. I do already have the arc. I just need to read that. And then the Cruel Fates duology by K.M. Morinova. I am all caught up. That first book is the only one that's out right now, and I am not sure when that second book is coming out. Those are the 4 series that I'm caught up on. 4. Boom. The category that maybe everyone's been waiting for. I don't know. These are all of the series that I have finished so far this year. And I have to say, this list is unfortunately short. It's unfortunately short, but I'm doing my best, you guys. I'm doing my best. The first series that I finished this year was the My Vampires series by Jenna Levine. I read My Road Trip with the Vampire. This one is about a witch and a vampire. Our witch, she lives in California. She has a past of doing some really bad things and is trying to turn her image around and be a good witch. And there is a vampire who has lost all of his memories and he doesn't know why or how, and they're both trying to solve this mystery. It leads to them going on a road trip and then falling in love. I have liked all of the books in this series. They're cute, paranormal romances, quick reads. I enjoy the author's writing. And I did finally finish this series. Of course, I also finished the Bonds That Tie series by Jay Bree. This is the 7th and final book, and this is the first book, but in the boys' points of view. Loved it. Absolutely loved this series. Devoured it. Highly recommend. Please, especially if you like reverse harem, read this series. It is so freaking good. It is so freaking good. Oh my gosh. Then I did finish the Bristol Keats duology. I did enjoy it. Now, this isn't like a 5 or a 4, you know, it's middle of the road. It's better than 50%, you know, 3.5 star range. Good, I enjoyed it, but I did finish the Bristol Keats duology. Then I also finished the Cross Country duology by Courtney Walsh. So I did recently finish A Cross Country Wedding, and this is the second book in the duology. So the first book was A Cross Country Christmas, and the second book is about a cross-country wedding. So in the second book, we follow the main female character from the first book, her best friend, and they're all on this road trip where the couple from the first book is getting married along the same road trip that they took in the first book. So it's super cute, fun romance. Definitely laughed out loud a couple of times. Cute banter. So I enjoyed this series. So those are the 4 series that I've finished so far this year. And it's not a lot. I know, it is not a lot. I have started way more series than I have finished, even though it's been my goal to finish series. Unfortunately, there is a stark difference between those numbers. It is my goal to start finishing and getting through some of these series. I did do a count of all of the series that I'm in the middle of. Whether I only have 1 book left in the series, whether I have a lot of books left in the series, or I'm waiting for more books in the series to come out. There are a lot. There are 54. I'm in the middle of 54 series, you guys. 54. That is fucking crazy. That is fucking crazy. Ugh. So now you understand why in the past couple TBR videos I've been like, I don't want to start any series, I just want to continue series. That's why, because I'm in the middle of 54 series and I want to continue and read the books, the series that I've already started. Because what's the point of starting a series if you're never going to finish it? There isn't a point. You may as well just finish it. So that is what I'm trying to do. I am really, really trying hard. And I did finish 2 of the 4 series in June, working my way through. It doesn't help that I have been doing a bunch of holiday themed reading vlogs where I've started a bunch of series and then really can't continue those until like the next season rolls around because I don't want to read a Christmas book in like the middle of the year or, you know, whatever. Well, and I've been getting a few arcs through NetGalley and all of them have been the start of new series and I want to read those books before they come out because that's the whole point. Oh, it's just putting me a little bit behind. We're working through it. I'm trying my hardest and I'm hoping to finish a bunch of these series before the end of the year. Hoping. Before the end of the year, I'll be caught up on ACOTAR. I'll be a little bit further on Lightlark. Probably won't be caught up. Be done with Wolf King series. I would like to be done with this one because there's only 1 book left. I will be done with this series. Just waiting on that book to come out. I've got the last book in this series on my July TBR. Just hoping to, you know, get through some of these. Thank you for tuning into this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned in January for my 2026 series wrap up as a whole, where I will be updating you on how many series I finish and how many series are left. I will see you in the next one. Bye.